What's going on YouTube? So when I saw that Schiffer's video on the commercial he made at home, I decided to challenge myself to even create something more inspiring. With no backdrops, no tripod, one source of light, and filming everything on my iPhone 8. So I went with a beverage commercial and here's how it turned out.
This is my Schweppes, my drink, my Chapman. From 3 variants brings an endless taste. Clean, crisp, a tonic drink like no other. Schweppes, building character since 1783.
So in this video I'm going to be going through my set and how I made this all possible on a budget with my phone, no tripod, just some books and tape. Yes, tape. And without wasting more time, let's roll the intro. I'm trying to step up my own game. So for my set, I had a 50x70 standard softbox light I got off a store here in Lagos, Nigeria. I also had a torch I used for a particular shot in this commercial, and I'm going to be showing you how I did that later in the video. Since I was not going to be using a backdrop, I had to improvise, and I got one of my white shirts and I had to tape it to the wall to serve as a backdrop. I would have just used my white wall, but it had some markings on it. I don't really know how it got there and it was a bit dirty. Yeah, so I had to go with something else and I came up with using a shirt. I also have my props, that's the Schweppes. It actually took me 2 weeks to get these Schweppes together. Apparently they're scarce in my area and my dad had to help me get them when he was on his way back from work. And as for my tripod improvisation, I had a dictionary and I taped the whole tape to it to serve as kind of like a platform so the phone will fall to either side when filming. Now a quick little tip is always kind of like storyboard your shots a few days before you actually shoot them. You don't really have to like draw them out completely. I had mine drawn out completely, but you could also use a notepad to try and like type them out so you don't get lost or confused when you're shooting. I planned my shots by going through the background music and the voiceover already laid out on my timeline about 2-3 days before the shooting day, and I also had some extra shots planned out. Like I said in one of my videos, there's nothing like excess footage, so be sure to play around and have some extra shots planned out apart from the one you actually intend to use in your timeline. So right now I'm going to be going through the video scene by scene and I'm going to show you guys how I made everything possible with my budget equipment.
This is my Schweppes.
So in the opening scene I had all my lights turned off, including the lights in my room, and I had only the backlight, the LED strip I have on currently. I had them on and I kind of like just got this little flashlight I showed you guys in the beginning of the video, and I just went over the can of Schweppes trying to reveal some specific parts of the can. I just try to give like an overview following the voiceover.
My drink, my Chapman.
Now the following 2 shots, it's kind of quite impossible to pull that kind of close-up shot with the accurate focusing on a standard iPhone camera. So I got this macro lens of Catbars. It was a set of 3. We have a 180-degree fisheye and a I don't know what is this. Oh yeah, and this is the wide angle lens. For this video I used the macro lens, and I've never actually used this before, but I realized it would be something I had to dig up from my tech kit. If you want to consider getting this is a cheap version. Companies like Moment gives you a better quality for your money, and although it's really quite expensive, but this one was really cheap. I think I got over $5. That's about 1,600 naira or so. I'll leave the links down in the description for you to get that. I hope I don't forget.
From 3 variants brings an endless taste.
Moving back to the video, for this kind of like 3 different can shots, I actually had the idea of glitching it at first, but when I started filming I realized it was going to be hard because I needed to kind of measure the length between the can and my phone for the 3 different shots, and it was kind of hard. I also considered like trying to turn the can while I was filming, but they didn't just go as planned. So what I did was just take a standard picture of the 3 different cans, and I tried to put them in the same position as possible, leaving my phone in the same place, kind of like a stop motion. And I put this together on my timeline, added an adjustment layer with a digital zoom, and I eased in the second keyframe, allowing it to go smoothly and slow towards the end. And later I had this glitch things trying, like, you know, popping up the screen, as well as the sound effect to kind of sell the transition more.
Clean.
For this kind of rotating shot, I use the macro lens again. It kind of like just goes over the camera like that, and you can see it focuses, it gives the camera an additional focus point. So yeah, that was basically how I did it. And for this, I just had the camera really close to it while I used my hand to try and rotate the can. And because I was like rotating on wood, it wasn't so smooth, you know, rotating the can with the wood. So I had this piece of cloth under the can, which made it a whole lot easier for me to rotate, and a whole lot better and easier to slow down in post-production.
Crisp.
Now for the can opening shot, I ditched the macro lens in this case because the macro lens will allow me to only get like a very close amount of distance for it to get in focus, and I really needed my hands and the can to show. So I just had the phone sitting and rolling while I just opened the can. It's pretty straightforward. And in my editing, I added this kind of dolly zoom in with a rotation keyframe and a cut while the can opens. And if you didn't really notice, the sound effects for the can opening was actually 2 sound effects. I actually got all my sound effects from Epidemic Sound. Shout out to them. And it was 2 can opening audio files I got, because the first one had a really nice, you know, crisp opening sound, while the second one had that fizz, you know, that I was really looking for. So I just put them together and try to make the best out of them.
A tonic drink like no other.
Now for the following shot, I just had my phone sitting on my tripod rig, while the phone was the cup rather, with the ice inside, was, you know, a little bit close to the LED strips I have rigged at the back of the desk, to try and allow that light to kind of get inside the cup, as well as give the eyes a little bit of color.
Schweppes, building character since 1783.
And for the closing shot, I just had all the 3 different cans, you know, stand there with the pour drink I did earlier, and just, you know, moved back. This was like basically the only shot I actually moved with the camera. You know, all that you saw, all the different shots you saw in this video wasn't everything I filmed on that day. I also had some extra shots. Like I said, you know, there's nothing bad in, you know, having some extra shots planned out just in case. So for my extra shots, I think I had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had about 7 extra shots. The first one was this, you know, using the macro lens again. I kind of like got extra details of the can, the 33cl. Another extra shot was, you know, I mentioned I kind of like filmed the different cans to try and see what could really work in post-production, and I ended up going with the still images and adding a digital transition, as well as, you know, using stop motion. Now in this particular video, I didn't really use my extra shots, but there are some videos whereby I've seen myself, you know, go to this extra shots folder and pick up a few videos from there, and it really helped my editing, helped the blank spaces in my timeline. And that was pretty much it, guys. Which was your favorite part of the shot of the commercial? Let me know in the comment section. Let everyone know it down in the comment section below. So the reason I made this video is just to show you that your creativity doesn't just depend on some expensive camera or some expensive tripod or an aperture 120D, and that's majorly what the channel is all about. So please consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos like this one, and it helps me out a lot. Also give this video a thumbs up so more people like you get to see it on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in my next one.
Play around Jamaica, chill like the Raider. Every day you pray to your maker. Now you got your way, you making this paper. Mama's